Number 9, the Honourable Maryan Street.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Health and asks, does he support Pharmac's provisional decision to engage Auckland company Pharmaco to be the sole supplier of new diabetic meters?
The Honourable Jo Goodhew.
On behalf of the Minister of Health, I support the work Pharmac is doing within their significantly increased medicines budget to deliver the best possible services for New Zealanders, including access to medicines. To make a change like this, Pharmac has to enter into a provisional agreement, as they have with Pharmaco, and then undertake a very thorough consultative process. Pharmac is now considering the 3,000 submissions they've received.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Maryan Street.
To the Minister, does he see any difference between engaging a sole supplier of a medical device without consumer testing, which allows people with a chronic illness to manage their condition, and engaging a sole supplier of a pharmaceutical which has known effects on known symptoms?
The Honourable Jo Goodhew.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Health, I'm very aware of how important this matter is to people with diabetes and can assure them that Pharmac is considering every submission. This, in fact, isn't new territory. Back in 2005, when Pharmac began supplying meters and testing strips, they put in place new funding criteria that's still in place today. At the time, Diabetes New Zealand said 40,000 people would be affected, and the then Minister of Health, Annette King, said in this House, there'll always be debate about which products ought to be used and which ones ought to be subsidised. I'm advised that this settled down after that time.
Order. I just urge ministers, if they're not clear on answering a question asked, not to go on too long on giving an alternative answer. Supplementary question, the Honourable. Point of order, the Honourable Maryan Street.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I asked, in fact, whether there was any difference in the Minister's view between engaging a sole supplier of a medical device and engaging a sole supplier of a pharmaceutical.
I invite the Minister. I realise the Minister is not the
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Health,
Jo Goodhew.
Without understanding to which other particular example the member refers, I'm simply able to answer based on the consultation process that is currently underway with Pharmaco and say that I cannot compare the two, and so therefore that is my answer.
The Honourable Maryan Street.
Supplementary question. Why was the CareSense meter not consumer tested to discover how useful a diabetic meter which is not backlit is to a type 1 diabetic who's having a hypo event in the middle of the night? And why would such a meter be preferable to the well-established AccuCheck meter which is backlit?
The Honourable Jo Goodhew.
On behalf of the Minister of Health. Mr. Speaker, I'm not able to comment on what meters have been tested or not been tested. That will in fact be a matter for Pharmac, but I am able to comment on the fact that this particular process is a thorough consultative process where all of the submissions will be considered and any of the concerns which may mirror the members' concerns will be addressed at that time.
The Honourable Maryan Street.
Supplementary question to the Minister. Is he at all mindful of the fact that this proposal by Pharmac has caused great consternation amongst the 150,000 people who use such meters, and is there any part of this diabetes debacle for which the Minister accepts any responsibility, given that he is the Minister of Health?
The Honourable Jo
Mr.
Goodhew.
Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, as I have already outlined to the member, there have been processes before where large numbers of people have been very concerned. In fact, 40,000 people with diabetes in the past were very concerned. I'm advised that if a new company is selected, there will be training provided for the use of meters, an opportunity for patient engagement. But, in fact, I remind the member that the decision has not been made. This is a consultation process, and perhaps the member is jumping the gun.
Question number 10, Pesatasa Mlotu Inga.